Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlene. We are on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, we will explore every means possible to ensure that whistleblowers are not victimized while the persons perpetrating the corrupt acts are walking freely. That's the resolve of interdicted chairman of TOIL Workers Union as he fights back over the controversial TOIL deal. Also, over 2,000 people died from road crashes last year, with more than 15,000 injuries recorded. We have more as the National Road Safety Authority shares measures to help reduce road crashes to the barest minimum. Plus, stay away from bribes, it's a curse. That's the warning coming from COP Christian Teteyono as he charges police officers to remain professional in the conduct of their duty. More as the IGP, Dr. Kufu Dampari, calls on officers to leverage the success of the Christmas festivities to improve on the integrity of the service.
Never do anything for you. It is a curse. So don't receive it. And shame those people. We continue to constructively criticize us for us to use our sense of guilt and shame to continue to be better.
And the Seventh-day Adventist Church Ghana makes a strong case for the amendment of the December 7 general elections date as the church says two separate petitions on the Electoral Commission and the Attorney General.
So to have December 7, 2024 being a Saturday poses a big challenge to us, especially for those who do not want to go against their religious convictions and yet also want to vote for their candidate.
We have details of all of this, plus business, sports, world news, and showbiz coming up this hour. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces of JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Please do stay for details. One of the two persons interdicted at the TOIL refinery says the interdiction will not stop them from blowing the whistle to ensure that persons responsible for the state of affairs at TOIL do not walk freely. The chairman of the TOIL General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union, Anthony Kimson, tells JoyNews they have done nothing wrong to be interdicted, insisting the action by management and the board is born out of sheer victimization. Mr. Kimson and another colleague were interdicted for allegedly disclosing vital information on the TOIL deal. The two, however, disagree with the management board over their decision. Anthony Kumson says they will explore every means possible to fight their case.
There are a lot of legal provisions to every Ghanaian and to union activities. And so we're going to explore every single one of them to make sure that those who blow whistle, the whistleblower is not victimized, is not panicked, while the perpetrators of the act for which he blew the whistle are walking around gallantly suggesting that nothing can be done to them. So for our engagement, we do the informal discussions behind. We have done practically almost all of them. Now we have drafted all the letters that we need to draft to these institutions for them to act on. And so some of them have given us the assurance that once we have engaged them in a conversation, we should hold on with all our immediate plans until what they have put in place is done. They have exhausted. Until they have exhausted all their avenues, then we will know what to do. So we are waiting for feedback from all the individuals or entities we have spoken to.
National Chairman for the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union of Trade Union Congress, Bernard Owusu, describes the interdiction as a way of gagging the workers from speaking up and doing their duties. He says they do not regret their action and will not apologize. He wants an unconditional revocation of the interdiction.
What the board of TOIL seek to do is just to gag the union from doing their rightful work that has been entrusted into them by the workers of TOIL, by showing of power by the board of TOIL. We are writing to the board and the management of TOIL to revoke that interdiction letter unconditionally and recall our members back to work unconditionally. And if that is not done, we'll follow due process and ensure that our brothers are back to work. We have made our point clear to them that, look, we don't have anything to apologize, and we are not going to apologize to them today or tomorrow. And we've conveyed our message, clear message through the Secretary General to the Managing Director of TOIL Refinery. And we are looking up to them to do the right thing. We will use all legal means to ensure that our brothers are back to work.
Away from that, over 2,000 people died from road crashes last year. This figure is a little less than the record of the previous years. There's, however, been a rise in the number of cases of injuries, with more than 15,000 injuries recorded per the latest statistics released by the National Road Safety Authority. We'll hear from the authority shortly for further details on the figures. But first, let's take a look at the rest of the statistics that was shared by the Road Safety Authority. And if you look at the trend of road crashes in Ghana between 2021 and 2023, you realize there's been a decrease over the period. 2021 was 16,182, reducing by 7.55% in 2022, giving you 14,960, and also further reducing to 5.51% in 2023, which was 14,135. Of course, there's also a reduction in deaths, because in 2021 we recorded 2,970 deaths. In 2022, it came down to 2,373, giving a representation of 20.1% decrease, and further decreasing by 4.08% in 2023, representing the figure 2,278. Now, if you look at the crashes also in the same period, it's reduced in 2023 by 12.45%. If we compare it to 2022, we reduced it by 202, and in 2023 by 178. The main figures there, you see 1,285 for 2022 compared to 1,125 in 2023. Now, if you look at how the whole thing, the description, and this is these are dates focuses the focus on Christmas period. In 2023, you realize that the crashes reported were 236, and persons killed were 37, and then you look at persons injured, 247, and then you look at same 2023, and you will realize that there's been some increase there. I mean, okay, so 2022 and 2023. Now look at crashes reported were 203, and then the persons killed actually increased to 47, but persons injured, that also increased. Well, the Director General at the Road Safety Authority, David Adontain, says the authority plans to do more to ensure the numbers are brought to the barest minimum, if not eliminated completely.
We will continue to have to work very hard, get all the necessary resources, sustain and maintain the kind of education that we are putting across. The police also come in with all the necessary resources to do the enforcement. Our road agencies will also continue to do their lot by dualizing most of our roads to eliminate head-on collisions, which happens to be one of the critical challenges we're facing. And beyond that, we are looking at going beyond the normal manual work of operation into technology. This year, Ghana is going to see a lot of technology deployed for road safety management. For example, the police is coming up with what we call the traffic test. You are going to see less policemen on the road. Rather, you're going to see cameras being deployed in vehicles and also fixed along the road to be monitoring the road 24/7. Any road user, particularly drivers, who flouts the traffic laws will be detected using electronic, and then we will have to be forthcoming by way of sending tickets and notices to them, and then they go with and pay some kind of penalties or fines. I think that technology is going to change the dynamic.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church is making a strong case for an amendment of the December 7 election day. The church, in separate petitions, first, the Electoral Commission says the elections would have to be moved from the conventional December 7 because the date falls on a Saturday, which will conflict with Sabbath, a holy day dedicated to the worship of God. The church says the first or second Tuesday will be more convenient to promote inclusive democracy. In an exclusive interview with JoyNews' Blessed Sogan, Women's Ministry Director at the Seventh-day Adventist Church Southern Ghana Union Conference, Solis Asafo, explained it is the hope of the church that the elections will not be held on any religious day in Ghana.
The church is making a proposal for some amendments to be done to this year's presidential and parliamentary elections on December 7. Similar to what happened in 1996, the church argues that this year's election falls on a Saturday, Sabbath, a day which is dedicated for worship. In view of this, the church is taking a number of initiatives, sending a petition, first of all, to Ghana's Electoral Commission, and subsequently another petition before the Minister of Justice and Attorney General to initiate some legal reforms that will see a change eventually in the laws.
And that's a problem. That's a problem for us. In 1996, Ghana, 7 December fell on a Saturday. And Adventists were torn between going to church and voting. Admittedly, religion and politics are two very passionate items. So when you ask somebody to choose either or, you create a problem if they want both. And that's why it's a problem for Seventh-day Adventists who vote. We are not a people who don't vote, we vote. And so we want to vote. So to have December 7, 2024 being a Saturday poses a big challenge to us, especially for those who do not want to go against their religious convictions and yet also want to vote for their candidates. Voting is a civic responsibility. Honoring the Sabbath is a godly responsibility. That's how we see it. As enshrined in the 10 Commandments, he says you have 6 days to do all your work, but you have to rest on the Sabbath day. And you know, sometimes people don't understand, but in that commandment, it says that the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of thy Lord. If it were mine, I would decide on what to do with it. But it's God's, and he says on this day, don't do this or do this. So that's where the conflict comes up. And that's why we think that if there's anything that can be done to change the date, it will help our members. We followed that up subsequently by writing to the Electoral Commission in February last year, indicating or making a proposal for a change what we were proposing was not for a date change, but we were proposing a day. So we proposed in our submission to the EC the first Tuesday, or a Tuesday in November or December of 2024.
Blessed Soga joins me in the studio with more on this. What exactly are they demanding from the
group is, putting before Ghana two separate petitions. First off, the first one goes to the Electoral Commission, asking them to immediately work on their demands, revise their date for the December 7 election, which is similar to what happened in 1996. Now, in 1996, December 7 was a Saturday. So that was a challenge for many Seventh-day Adventists who then would have to choose between Sabbath, a day of worship, and voting in a general election. They believe that we've advanced as a democracy. So this time round, instead of going for a December 7 election, revise it to the first or second Tuesday of November 2024. And they simply explain that this will allow all religious groupings to then participate in the exercise, because Tuesday is not any peculiar to any of the religious groupings. There is another petition also now going to the Attorney General. Because you know that the EC might make a constitutional argument. The argument that if you look at our laws, the period for organizing general elections is restricted by the Constitution, looking at the demands for parliamentary elections and also the presidential election. So they are immediately asking for the Attorney General to consider some amendments to Article 114 of the 1992 Constitution. Then it will then provide the basis, a constitutional, space for the Electoral Commission to now decide and to possibly look at some changes in the dates.
Well, one of the questions that will be on the lips of many is whether, election starts from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. During the day. Is it not possible for them to go to church?
That's a very interesting perspective to this, but they believe that it is a commandment from God, and you don't want members to be choosing between voting days and worshiping God and dedicating that day to God, because you're not supposed to engage according to their worship in any other activity for that day.
Right.
Beyond that as well, interestingly, they claim that some of their churches are used as polling stations for elections. So imagine on a Sabbath day using an SDA venue for the elections come December 7. And so it's part of the broader considerations why they believe that a revision of the day, not the date, will definitely help to tackle all of these issues. And they make the case that they are not just making a case for the SDA church, they are also advancing the argument to say Muslims worship on a Friday, so each time you have an election happening on December 7, which will be on a Friday, you will then have a problem. So why don't you revise and have a standing rule or law that will guarantee that you don't have elections taking place on any day that will fall on a religiously significant day for any of the religious groupings in Ghana. So that's the demand they are making, and asking, first of all, the Electoral Commission and the Attorney General to deal with the challenges.
Has there been a response yet?
Well, I spoke to Dr. Siribokweku this morning on whether or not, first of all, the Electoral Commission is aware of these concerns. The Electoral Commission says, yes, they have taken notice and receipt of this petition coming through from the SDA Church, except to say that the Commission is now looking at the terms for the petition and will make a final pronouncement on what the considerations are, possibly what the constitutional implications would also be. And you know that the political parties are involved. And speaking about the political parties, the church says it has extensively engaged the political parties and placed before them the reason why there's a need for
especially because the Constitution mandates us to swear in the president on the 7th of January, a 1 month period to be able to do some handing over and all of that before.
And exactly why they say that if you go by the date, then you'd be required to swear in by January 7th. But if we have a standing law, first of all, start off with the Attorney General revising Article 114 of the Constitution, then you can nuance or perhaps change the requirements for organizing both your parliamentary and presidential elections, then that would equally affect the day you'd have to swear in your president. So they're asking for an extensive
if those
reform,
provisions also are entrenched or not entrenched.
They actually argue that it's not entrenched in their statement and their petition to the Attorney General.
We see how this will go.
Definitely.
It's quite an interesting request
when
there.
it's got to do with religion and elections.
Yes, and that's why you have to be very careful in handling it. Let's get on to other stories. Former President John Mahama is urging Ghanaians, especially trade and labor groups, to allow him what he terms honeymoon if given the nod in the 2024 presidential elections. He says the NDC will inherit a broken economy and will need time to restore it. Speaking at a Campus Connect event as part of the Building Ghana tour, the NDC flag bearer said a national forum will be held to solicit ideas in restoring the economy. Nana Ojima toured the Volta region with the former president and has filed this report.
Beforehand, tell you that our country's economic situation is in a very dire state. The MPP has brought Ghana's economy to the lowest ebb that has ever been seen in our history. We are broke. We are indebted. There's hardship in the land. There's no money in the system. People do not have disposable incomes. Pensioners' monies have been taken. Bondholders' monies have been taken. And so it's created a very critical situation for us. And therefore, we are very measured in the promises that we make, because we know that we're going to come and inherit a very difficult situation. And so we would urge that when we come into office, you understand the mess that we have inherited. We have the men and women who can work to turn it around. But we will all have to understand the situation and be patient as government works to put the economy back on its feet. And so while you are making demands, if government comes, help us with this, help us with that, yes, we will. But initially, the first thing we have to do is to bring the economy back to life. And I know that as soon as we come, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to hold a national conference, a national economic dialogue, and we're going to bring all stakeholders together. We'll open the books for you to see the mess that the NPP has left for all of us and what we have to do to be able to bring it back. My brothers and sisters, when NDC was leaving office, the total public debt was 120 billion cedis. Total, from Kufuor's time, Atta Mills, Rawlings' time, Nkrumah's time, we owed only 120 billion. Today we owe almost 600 billion.
Director General in charge of administration at the Ghana Police Service, COP Christian Tetayono, has warned police officers to stay away from bribery. The police administrator made the call during a short ceremony at the police headquarters to debrief officers after their Christmas operation. COP Tetayono said officers' ability to stay away from these gestures will help improve the integrity of the Ghana Police Service. My colleague James Aveji was at the event and has filed this report.
Now, the Ghana Police Service, has part of its strategies to ensure the safety of the public during the Christmas festivity, deployed officers on the streets across the country. Now, after working day and night, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, today met with the officers in a quick debriefing exercise at the Emergency Command Center here at the police headquarters. But the event started with the IGP giving the opportunity to the officers who have been on the street to share their experiences with him, as well as share with him some recommendation they think would be relevant to improving such activities.
When they dispatch it in our duty, they advise us on extortion. And then when you go there to truly, these civilian, some of them like to be giving us money, but by God's grace, we always reject this kind of money. Our ennobled IGP was with us wherever we are. And I think we, the recruits, we, the J constables, got to a point we were very tired. But because of the presence of the IGP, each and every one of us was so excited.
COP Awuni, who is the Director General of the National Patrols Department, also urged the police to use this opportunity as a starting ground to deepen their relationship with the general public as well as up their respect for the public.
One of the key points that always some members of the public will complain about us is the way we disrespect them. So if we start refusing to take money from members of the public, the second point we must endeavor to do is to begin to respect members of the public and treat them with the respect that they deserve. Remember that we are public servants. We are servants of the public. So how can a servant disrespect the master?
Meanwhile, Director General of the Ghana Police Service in charge of administration, COP Christian Tete Yohunu, warned police officers to stay away from bribery.
The assurance given by the men is that all the attempt to bribe them, they rejected them. And that is kudos to them. And we want to tell the other policemen who are home and their various places are prepared to go to work, who are not part of these galaxy stars, they should take the example from these people. That whenever they will be on duty, they should also copy the same example and make sure that they reject anything given to them. And when we continue to do this, I tell you, a time will come when they start rating, and it has already started, that they are rating in terms of corruption, Ghana police they will never come at all. So we are urging all of you, what we have started, and I'm telling you that never do anything for you. It is a curse. So don't receive it and shame those people who are to bribe you and then continue to get focused on your work.
Now, the Inspector General of Police himself, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, then used the opportunity to urge the officers to work hard to maintain the relationship they have built with the public in a short period of time, as he used the opportunity to appeal to the public to support the Ghana Police Service become one of the respected institutions in the sub-region and beyond.
We also want to thank the good people of Ghana for accommodating our shortfalls and continue to constructively criticize us, for us to use our sense of guilt and shame to continue to be better, so that we will continue to strive to become the best institution in the country and a reference point for the rest of Africa and beyond.
The whole of the exercise came to an end here with the IGP George Akufo-Dampare himself and members of the Police Management Board going around to, give cheers to the officers one after the other amid high morale, singing of morale songs by the officers in order to appreciate the opportunity given them by the IGP to serve the public in a way they describe as a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. From the police headquarters here in Accra, my name is James Savaji, reporting for Joy News.
Education Minister Yoawose Duchum is charging the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission (GTEC) to work in collaboration with tertiary institutions to realign the university curriculum to ensure a seamless accommodation of students from STEM and vocational institutions who are learning AI courses, including robotics and computer sciences. According to the minister, the children in their pre-tertiary schools have hands-on training in these fields, hence the need for a seamless transition into tertiary institutions to help them explore their full potential. The minister spoke at a conference of the future of AI and ICT in education in Ghana, in Accra.
With the fast development of technology and artificial intelligence in Africa, its impact on everyday life cannot be underestimated. Ghana's Education Minister, Dr. Yao Osei Edichum, is confident the introduction of AI and advanced technology in the Ghanaian education system will improve educational outcomes.
So AI is critical for proficiency in various subjects. But beyond that, I think the most critical aspect of it is that it can be a teaching tool. And AI can predict, tell a teacher, focus on this, and this student will do better. And I think it allows for us to really get rid of learning poverty. We are doing some great things in this country, but AI will give us a very important mechanism to really do much better and catch up and make sure we bridge the learning gap between us and other developed countries.
The minister also charged the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to work in collaboration with tertiary institutions to realign the university curriculum to ensure a seamless accommodation of students from STEM and vocational institutions who are learning AI courses.
Now, if you begin to take a look at what is happening in the high school space, you go to Accra High and you see that they do engineering sciences. We have new STEM schools that are functioning, from Abomusu to Pasempe to all these places. Children are inventing and flying drones like at Afia Kubiampim. Our tertiary institutions have to now begin to look at how they accommodate the learning needs of these new students who are using their minds and using their hands in designing robots and doing so many unique things. So we have to, GTEC has to work with tertiary education institutions. Already NACA is designing new high school curriculum which has involved the universities. So the idea is to make sure that we have a seamless transition from high school to the university, so far as the ICT field is concerned.
The conference on the impact of artificial intelligence and ICT on Ghana's education was organized by the Education Ministry in collaboration with Yonsei University of Korea. It is to deliberate on how Ghana can learn from the Korean experience to develop the Ghanaian system. Jang Sai Kim is the head of research for the university.
Korea was the poorest country in the world in 1960s and 70s, and Ghana was much advanced than Korea in 1970s. But now Korea has been one of the leading countries in economy and society in the world level. But we believe that our experiences and knowledge and insight can be shared with our colleagues in Ghana. So that's why we are here.
On how Ghana can position herself to reap the full benefits of AI and technology, he believes the training must start at the basic levels.
Well, today I invited many high school students. They are our future. Then we need to focus on junior high school and primary school students. And when they grow up, they will use ICT. Just as we use a fork and knife, they will use ICT and AI, and they will make their own way of strategic development in Ghana society.
With this collaboration between Ghana and the Republic of Korea, Ghana is hopeful of leveraging the Korean experience and expertise to develop a sustainable education in AI and ICT in order to reap the full benefits.
A group of 5 young innovators driven by a common passion for addressing societal challenges have developed a simple, affordable and eco-friendly system to help purify the water used by rural communities in Ghana. Research conducted by Water Aid Ghana reveals nearly 4 million Ghanaians do not have access to clean water. StarTech, one of the groups competing in the 2023 Ghana Science and Tech Explorer Challenge Prize, is looking at addressing this with its solar-powered water treatment system. Joy Prime's Justine Amenyeji and Samuel Martins have more on their project in the following report.
Many households, particularly in rural Ghana, continue to suffer from water-related diseases such as cholera, typhoid and dysentery. as a result of drinking unsafe water. The group of 5 young visionaries, united by a shared zeal to tackle societal challenges, has creatively crafted a cost-effective and environmentally conscious system. This innovation is designed to assist individuals residing in rural areas in purifying their water, bringing forth a solution that is both accessible and eco-friendly.
In many rural communities in Ghana, per the United Nations, 19,000 people, including 5,100 children under the age of 5, suffer each year from water-related diseases such as cholera, dysentery, and many more. At StarTech, we believe that water comes first in everyday matter. We also believe that if we come together with a shared passion, we can solve this problem together. So we came up with a solar-powered water treatment system.
We're still live on JoyNews Today. We're coming to you from our studios in Kokumlemle. We are on the Fanofa Street. Let's take a break. When we return, there's a very latest coming from the world of business.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Powell. Stakeholders in the real estate sector have called for collaboration between government and developers to provide decent and affordable housing units for security personnel. According to them, this will reduce the country's housing deficit. Speaking at a ceremony to cut salt for the construction of an ultra-modern recreational facility for the military police in Burma Camp, the chief executive of Mayfair Estates, Dr. John Watson Otumfuo, assured that the private sector will collaborate to solve the housing needs of the security services. There's more in the following report. The provision of housing and accommodation for the military and other security services will see an improvement as more stakeholders are expected to take up the challenge of supporting personnel with their accommodation needs. As part of the efforts, Mayfair Estate has been collaborating with the Ghana Armed Forces to improve upon the situation in the last 5 years. After cutting salt for an ultra-modern military mess and recreational facility at the Douala Barracks, Chief Executive of Mayfair Estate, Dr. John Watson Otumfuo, assured that more will be done to bridge the housing gap across the various services.
We've done a lot for the public in various places, and for the armed forces, what we've also done, obviously before I came on board, the armed forces lacked so much accommodation. Their living condition was just too bad. But I can tell you we've added a lot of accommodation to what they used to have. And also through General Pompepra, whose vision has actually propelled the Ghana Armed Forces to another level. The accommodation of the soldiers have improved and increased. Right now they have a lot of accommodation, unlike what was there previously.
Chief of Army Staff Major General Opompepra, in his remarks, recounted some notable public-private partnership projects with Mayfair, which dates back a few years ago.
The Ghana Armed Forces, in collaboration with Dr. John Watson Otumfuo of Mayfair Estates Limited, went into a collaboration in the year 2014. The then Chief of the Army Staff, Major General Richard Opoku Eduse, retired, entered into a private-public partnership program with Mayfair Estates Limited to relocate the military police barracks at Club 77 at Elwak, and in exchange, build 122-bedroom barracks accommodation, which is just behind us. This morning, we are gathered here to witness the salt cutting of another magnificent structure for the Ghana Military Police. The project, when completed, will serve as a recreational center, a dining hall, and a multi-purpose center for the unit.
The ongoing project is expected to be completed in 10 months. Now, the cedi weakened 1.22% to the US dollar in the retail market last week following depreciation pressures However, the expected inflow of a $600 million bailout package from the International Monetary Fund is expected to reduce the strain on the local currency in the near term. Here's more in this report.
Despite the ease in inflation and the announcement by the government that it had reached debt restructuring agreements with its official creditors, the local currency lost value to all the major foreign currencies. The central bank also auctioned $20 million for the bulk oil distribution companies in its first sale for the year. But it failed to tame the persistent corporate demand as the local currency unit closed trading on the retail market at 12 cedis 33 pesos to $1. However, the expected $600 million inflows from the International Monetary Fund after its board approval of the first program review this Friday should help improve market sentiments. This will shore up foreign exchange reserves and strengthen supply-side intervention.
And that's it for business. The news continues after this break.
Welcome to the sports segment on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Jose Mourinho has been sacked after 2.5 years in charge at Roma, with Daniel De Rossi set to be named as his replacement. The Giallorossi have won one of their last 6 Serie A games and were recently knocked out of the Coppa Italia by city rivals Lazio, where Mourinho was sent off. They are 9th in Serie A, 22 points behind league leaders Inter Milan. Now, Mourinho joined Roma in 2021 and led them to the Europa Conference League title in 2022. That's your sports. We've got more for you at 1 p.m. on AFCON Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
And it's time for us to get you into the world of entertainment to tell you what is happening in there. And Shashamali, you remember Shashamali, right? Yeah, he had the track record titled Mata Tui Mata Fish, and yeah, that he's back at it again, and he has a new one out. And he says that this particular track is a clarion call to the Ministry of Road and Highways to do well to curb down traffic. And the title of the track is Spintex Road Traffic Jam. Well, he was talking to Fante Dolo of Adum FM, and he explains and gives reasons to why he chose this particular title.
Spintex Road Traffic Jam is a new song on the block by Shashamali, and I'm urging all and sundry to go for it and take it to heart. It is a call to action for the authorities in charge of the roads and highways in our country, Ghana, and beyond its borders, to make sure that there's a free flow of traffic on our roads to help boost our economies and to make our nation better for us and for our children to live. You know, I mean, the economy is collapsing also because we have a lot of the traffic jammed on our roads. You know, people are supposed to get to work at 6 a.m., they get to work at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. And it's not helping for production to increase, you understand? And all these are part of the situations that are making the economy crumple. You know, so Spintex Road Traffic Jam, I'm using the Spintex Road Traffic Jam, the Spintex as a case study, but it's a nation issue. You know, so I want everybody hearing the sound of my voice to go get this song and make sure that you take it to heart to eradicate the traffic jams on our roads.
So how is traffic impeding on our development as a country?
Yeah, it is because, you know, like I said earlier, you know, production of work is not increasing. You know what I'm saying? Because people are not getting to work in time. You know what I'm saying? In other words, making the production slow. You know, talk about, I mean, corporate bodies, talk about the national bodies, wherever. You know, when the traffic begins to flow very well, it's going to help increase the production in this country. You know, I mean, let's take the Western world, for example. They have free flow of traffic, mostly, but 99% on their roads. So they are increasing every day. Production, you know. So let's make sure that, you know, I mean, this song speaks to the authorities to help flow the traffic on our roads.
And that was Shasha Mali sitting there with Fantidol of Adum TV. Let's move on. And Article 1, who was on KMJ's show on a more serious note on Joy Prime, says that he is still relevant as a musician and also in the space. He's just taking off time to have a rebrand.
But do you think that you've lost your relevance in Ghana yet? That's why you've moved to somewhere else where nobody knows that, you know, you can still build from there and forget about it.
This is a nice question. But I've not moved to the UK.
Okay.
I live in Ghana. But at a point in time in my life, I have decided to sit back and rebrand the Article 1.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of money in music. I travel a lot. What I hear different stuffs. I see different stuffs. So why don't I sit back? It's a matter of time. Just give time to yourself. I'm not dead yet. I'm not good at right now. I just will sit back, work properly, put more energy into my production, my brand, how I appear on stage, my craft, my creativity, and then come back again.
But it looks like you sit for too much. You sit at the back there.
That'd be what you think. But for some few time to come, you go really understand the reason why I go back small.
And that was Article 1. Don't forget that on a more serious note is on Joy Prime every Friday between the hours of 8 to 9. And that is what is bringing the curtains down on what is happening in the world of showbiz. Here on JoyNews Today. The name is Ibrahim Ben Bako. Aisha, back to you.
Aisha. Bringing the curtains down the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. To enjoy the rest of our programs.
Aisha Ibrahim.
Bye.
Yeah.
Ibrahim.